Right, hi ladies and gents. So today we are going to be looking at control structures and loops, right? After we do that, then we look at some bit of functions. We learn how to write a single function. After that, we'll be able to develop code that will help us create user-defined packages. If you remember my packages, like Vanamath, those are inbuilt packages, but we want to develop our own packages. So we have to start with control structures. My control structures do my if statements. They help us to make decisions. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're writing a program, right, that grades marks. Maybe it's a program for your high school, and it provides it. You know, for a person to get an A, I think the mark is 75%, something like that. Then B starts from maybe 65 or 60. So the program should automatically grade once it has the marks for everyone. So how do you do that? You use my if statements, right? So this is the structure of if statements. We have got three types of if statements. We have got singular if statements, which is this one, right? We also have if statements that have got more than one conditions, that have got like two conditions. Those are known as they don't have a name generally, but I'll give you the format, right? And we also have if statements that have multiple conditions. So we want to start with the most simple case of an if statement. So this is the syntax of writing an if statement. You write the keyword F. F is a Python keyword. Then you write the condition here. Then you use a full colon. Then you press enter. Remember, after pressing full colon, after writing full colon, press enter, because if you don't do that, you generate some errors. I'm going to show you the errors that you generate. Then after that, you write a couple of statements that you want to be executed. So let's look at a simple scenario. Let's say we are writing a code, and if the temperature, it's about temperature. Let's say we want to quarantine everyone who has got a temperature that is more than the normal temperature, which is, let's say it's 36.7 degrees Celsius. So we can your temperature. I did it. Right. So we have to create a variable here. Maybe the variable is temperature, so it's temp. Let's say this person's temperature is hypothetically speaking, you know, you can never have such temperatures. Let's say it's 41 degrees Celsius, right? Then you have to write your if statement. If, then after the if, we have to write the condition. Let's put it in parentheses so that we make it simple, right? So we are saying if temp, this is the temperature. If it is greater than, right, 37, let's say 37, right? If it's greater than 37, then you write your full colon, eh? After writing your full colon, press enter, right? I want you to pay attention. Look at the cursor. When I pressed enter, the cursor went downwards here, and there is an indentation that is happening here. An indentation was created, right? You should respect that. I'll come back to that shortly. Then you print this person should be quarantined. This person should be quarantined, right? Let's run this code. Since the temperature is more than 37, this person should be quarantined. Let's say the temperature is 36. Then nothing will happen. So this is the simplest example of an if statement. Now we want to take it a little bit further. We want to write an if statement that has got two conditions. So then here we have to, instead of before we look at that, I want to tell you the importance of indenting. Python is a language that pays attention to my indentions. So the things that you have to be careful while you are writing a Python code, you need to indent when you are using if statements, when you are using loops, when you are using functions. So right now, since we are looking at if statements, I'm going to only talk about if statements. And you have to indent. Let's remove the indentation. We want to see what will happen. Let's say you write it like this. Then you try to run it. You see? Indentation error. Expected an indented block. So you should always remember, when you are working with if statements, you should always indent. So if you make a mistake like this, you should just move the cursor over to the first line, right? Then press tab, just like this. And then you are home and dry, right? So let's move over to the next type of if statement, right? Else. Then indent. You write your statements here. You write your statements. You write your statements here. So this is an example of an if statement that has got two conditions. So we are saying if condition 1 passes, you execute the statements. Else, if you didn't pass, you execute another form of statement. Let's write another code for now. We want to write just a short code. If someone is female, then we want the system to tell us that she should use the female's toilet, right? If that person is male, the piece of code should tell us that the person should go to a male toilet, right? So gender is going to be it's going to be a string. Let's say here it's female. Let's say here it's female. Then next, we're going to write our if statement. If, right? If gender. So if you want to compare values, you use the double equal sign like this. That's how we do it, right? If the gender is male, then execute the statement. Print please use the male toilet, right? Next, now we don't have to indent because we want to write the other condition since we have got two conditions, right? Print please use the female toilet. Please use the female toilet. Please use the female toilet. Right? Please use the female toilet. We can come here and change here. Please use the male toilet. So this is an example of a dual condition if statement. It's an if statement that only has two conditions, right? Before we go to the last type of loop, type of if statement, sorry, I want to tell you about the importance of capitalizing or of case sensitivity in a way, right? I think that's the correct phrase. Python is case sensitive, so you have to respect the cases, that is capital letter or small letter. That's what we mean when we talk about case sensitivity. An example can be here. We all know that the print function that we use in function, it's all in small caps. Let's say you make a mistake here. You put a capital letter. You see the color is changed, which means the interpreter that we are using to execute these Python statements doesn't recognize this print as a keyword. So if you try to run it, still running. Okay. Let's take another one. It wasn't supposed to do like that. Wait a minute. Right. You see, it generates an error because print is not defined. So right now the interpreter, it sees print as a variable that is not being defined, yet it is now being used. So you should understand that Python is case sensitive. So sometimes you might find yourself in deep trouble, in hot soup, which is code. These are the types of mistakes. So in the next short video, we're going to be looking at we're going to be looking at multiple conditions. Ifs with multiple conditions.